Planning ball python pairings can be complicated, especially when looking at all of the different genes and genetic mutation one gets. Today we're going to give you guys some key tips on how to decide on certain pairings. So it's very important before you decide on which pairings you're going to make to actually check which animals are of breedable size. So what we always do is we condense all of our breeder males and breeder females on two different lists. So you can actually use whichever method you want to use. If you want to use a pen and paper and write it down, that could work. We use basically a simple Excel spreadsheet where we put all of our males and all of our females on two different spreadsheets, and then later what we do is all of the females which are breedable we put in one column, and all of the breedable males we put in another column. So what we always do is then we go through the list, we look at possible pairings, and what I do is actually we've got the females on the left hand side, and we've actually got a male, the preferred male as the first option male, and then in some cases we've got a second and a third option male for that certain female. So basically here we've got some of our pairings for this coming year. As you guys can see, is we've got the female's ID on the left hand side, we've got the genetics of the female on the right hand side, and then again the same story with the male. The male's ID is on the left hand side, and then genetics of the animal is on the right hand side. And here we've got actually just the first option male for all of the females. We do have, in some cases, we've got backup males for certain females and certain projects. It's always important to have backups in certain projects. If, for instance, a male isn't able to breed that season, or he stops breeding or stops feeding during the season, and you need to pull him out of the breeding rotation. Step 2, decide on key animals and key projects that need to be achieved. So let's say, for instance, you are starting a new double recessive project and you need a certain male for that project. It's very good to plan ahead and see exactly where the project is heading to and what animal will be needed for the future. So for instance, something which is applicable here at Reptiles for Centuries, this past season we actually made double head for tri-stripe ultramals, and they are 50% head for desert ghost, and we actually kept back 3 of those females for future pairings. Currently, we don't have a male for that project. We don't have a double head tri-stripe ultramal male as of yet. So in the near future, I'm going to make a certain pairing. It could be a very simple pairing just to reproduce the desired animal we want for that females. It could be just a tri-stripe male to an Enchi ultramal female, or whatever pairing. It could be a very simple pairing, but at the end of the day, we need that key animal, that double head tri-stripe ultramal male for our projects. So always think ahead and look at your projects. If you have certain females or males growing up, look at what you're going to need for the near future to elevate that project. Step 3, start with new long-term projects. So it's always good to start with new projects, make new double, triple, or even quadruple heads for those new projects, because these projects are going to help you to maintain and attain certain goals that you've got in mind for the collection. So for instance, if you are very fond of the Exantic Desert Ghost Clown project, which is a real amazing project, you need to start somewhere. So you're going to have to make the triple heads if you're not able to acquire those animals. So that's why I always say try and do new projects which is appealing to you and also that you want to achieve in the long term. Step number 4 is to be unique and use your imagination. So guys, if you can dream about it, think about it. So that's why I always say use your imagination. Some of these combos you can't even envision, but we've got some idea of how these genes interact with each other, so you can get some sort of perception of what it possibly can be in the near future. So I always say, don't follow the norm. You can use it as a guideline of previous creations and use it to create something new. So don't follow the norm. Think outside the box and do something that hasn't been done.